So did you get a choice between the E2 and C2, and which was your preference?
So that's a great question. And what's ironic about that whole story is that I told you I was voluntold to go E2, C2. I mean, most of the things in the military, I'm sure over there in the UK and certainly here in the States, it's a lot of timing, a lot of luck. I was good enough to get selected for tailhook going from primary to Meridian, Mississippi, where I flew T-45s. And then I was voluntold to go E2, basically they called it E2 C2. So fast forward a year and a half, you're in Norfolk, and we were at what's called, they called it the RAG back in the day, the Replacement Air Group. Now it's nicknamed the FRS, the Fleet Replacement Squadron. So at the RAG, they fly E2s and C2s and to train the replacement pilots going out to the fleet. And this was the first time in 2.5 years of flight school, after getting my wings, that they said, okay, we're going to leave it up to you guys. I think I had 7 people in my class, 2 C2 slots, and 4, is it 4? I think we'll say like 3 or 4 E2 slots on the West Coast, so California.
Yeah.
So there was, what was remaining was undesirable E2 slots in Norfolk, Virginia, and then desirable E2 slots in California, and then what people would consider the very desirable C2 slots, which it was going to, we didn't know at the time, it was going to be 1 Virginia, 1 California. So basically 6 of the 7 people, 6 guys and 1 girl, six of us wanted C2s, and we literally put our military IDs in a hat. We went to a local restaurant and talked about it and said, hey, this is what we're going to do first. I think one of the guys, the one guy who actually wanted E2s, he got to pick. We decided you get to, your first choice of E2s, California, or we're going to draw for C2s. So he drew our cards out, and he drew me and another girl's names hat out of the hat, or card out of the hat, and we both got C2s. So that's literally the story of how I got C2s, was card pulled out of a hat for C2s.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I have to ask, what were your first thoughts on the Greyhound?
First thought, well, first of all, I didn't know what it was. I mean, all through my time in the military, or in the military, certainly at the Naval Academy, I learned about it, but F-18, Super Hornet, Growler, all that stuff. Learn about other planes, the E2s and P3s going to P8s, and then you kind of like, what is that thing, the C2? I definitely thought it was a little ugly of an airplane at first, but once you start flying it, you get a newfound respect for just how big and how much power it has, for basically not being really aerodynamic like a jet, because we're around the jet guys all the time. I went through flight school with these guys for many years, and when you're on the boat, when you're on the aircraft carrier, you're sleeping next to these guys, and so you really interact a lot, and you just realize how much bigger your plane is. But at the same time, like I said, there's that newfound respect for how hard it is to fly, especially with all that power and right rudder required, and just the tremendous horsepower to land on the carrier and certainly take off from it and to not kill yourself. So I definitely did not think it was the prettiest airplane, but it's kind of one of those, hey, only I can call it ugly kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like to everyone else, you're
Yeah,
like, that's my baby.
yeah.
Spent a lot of time flying the C2 and just learned to love it. It's a great platform.